Hi guys, it's me Karen. Welcome back to my channel. I decided I'm going to try to do a picture in this book, The Intricate Ink Animals in Detail, Volume 5 by Tim Jeffs down here. And I thought I would do this one, which is the Leafy Sea Dragon. And if you see around my desk, I picked out a whole bunch of distress inks. So we are going to ink this guy. I looked on YouTube for trying to find what everybody was using to use in this book, and I didn't see anybody using distress ink, so what the heck, I'm going to try it. So I'm going to try to leave the camera up. I don't know if that's a good enough angle here. I've got everything up at the top of my desk. Okay, what we're going to do is the lightest color first, because with inking, it's the way you do it, lightest color, then the darker and darker. So I have these tools. These are, I believe, the mini tools. These are the mini detail tools. It's just a wooden dowel with a little tiny sponge on both ends, except for this one where I only have it on one end because this one broke off and don't know where it went. I have my little cubes and my big cubes. Okay, because this book gives me the name of the critter I'm going to be doing, I look it up on the internet to find out what color that there actually are. And depending on where you see a leafy sea dragon, whether it's down in the sea, down when you're diving, they are a certain color. If you see them in an aquarium, they can have lights above that change the color of the sea dragons down below. So some aquariums will have like a blue light, which will show off their leafy appendages here in different colors. So you could have a light that shows him off in pinks and blues and purples, or if you see him in his natural habitat, he is kind of a yellowish brown with green tips. And the green tips in these darker areas can have either brown or kind of a purplish tone to them down underwater. So I thought I'd just go with the underwater type fish. Seahorse. Shouldn't call it a fish, it's a sea dragon. Anyway, so we're going to start off with a yellow base. So I'm going to just take out, and this is mustard seed. And I have to check my sponge because I got a lot of green on it. And it looks pretty dry, so yeah, that's okay. So it'll come out kind of a yellow color. Now, I've never used it on this book before, so we're going to find out how it works. Mostly this color would be down on his belly, and it comes down here and across there. So I'm inking up a portion of this and using this as a very fat, wide pencil. So just kind of turning it with my wrist as I go around the corner and keeping the ink on that section. We'll go down the ear too, because we want to keep those a little yellow. So, and then his cheek up here, he has some interesting lines here I do not want to go over, so we're going to leave those white. Hopefully I don't get too much ink close to those in his little mouth. Okay, a couple of these in here too, just to get some of that highlight in those areas. Okay, if you want it darker, just go over it a few times. Now we will double check on the back of the page, and no, the ink is not going through. I didn't think it would, but it's always nice to check before you get too far. There we go. Okay. That's pretty good. I'm gonna add a little spiced marmalade, which is kind of an orange color in a couple areas. I'm gonna use the same ink pad. You're gonna find this funny because I guess I got an orange one. I'll use the orange one for that. I'll use that one for green. Yellow and green go together. Okay. So, put a little here, and a little there. Just kind of putting in where it's the darkest and bringing it up into the lighter areas. So adding our shadows. I'll put some over here, just using that corner to ink it up, put that corner down and pull it in. And we'll put a little on his snout over here. Okay, he's getting some color on it. Oh, there was a little ink pad in there too. Now we're going to add a little green. This green here is called peeled paint. And it's a nice little regular green here. By the way, this paper takes this ink really nicely. So kind of the tips of these we do in the green. And up here on the top. That's supposed to be white too, so we won't mess with that. Okay. Now I want to bring in some brown. So I'm going to switch to a smaller tool. The detail piece. I'm just checking. And in these spots here, we want to add a little brown. So I'm just going to drag that across where he's already got the lines. Just inking it up and laying it down like you would an ink pen. Drawing it straight across to get those little lines in there. So far, so good, huh? Just drawing it down on the side here just to give a shadow. Okay. Put a little more brown in this area. Okay, you may have to go over it a few times because the ink will sink into the paper, and it always goes down a little darker than when it dries. So we're going to put a little around his eye there. Kind of bring it down a little there. Around here. Around in his mouth. Just adding the shadow. Just gonna run it right up these stripes too. Okay. Well, don't want ink falling on the floor. I'm going to bring in a little bit of scattered straw. I'm going to use this orange one. See how much orange is left on here and where it was. Okay. I need another little thingy. Add a little bit of that in there. Right in there too. All right, I think that's enough ink. So then I'm going to get you down for some pencil work. Hold on. Okay, we are back, and I'm going to get out one more ink color and see if I have a sponge for this one. Do I or not? Well, we'll try the but that's so green. Sometimes I just need to buy more of these little spongy things. So I tend to just use them over and over and over again. Okay, get a card and we will check. I'm looking at brightening up some of this, and I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try with a little bit of squeezed lemonade, which is a brighter color. I'm going to add it on some of these white tips. Just add it in here and there. Okay, that'll do that. Now I'm going to bring in pencils. One, we need darker tones in these little leafy things. And we need a green, a little bit brighter green. We're going to try to add that in. We're going to try to add in a little of the yellow to go with that green. And then I brought two white utensils here, a white Prisma and a Posca, because we can add some white in also. So let us try here with the darkest green. We're going to kind of work it around in here. This one happens to be Olive Earth. Sorry, I didn't even tell you what it was. Derwent Light Fast. And there's a line that comes down here, and I'm just going to trace over it and then bring some of that into this area, leaving that little line on the outside. Can do that on all of those and kind of use it in that dark area. So that gives us our little bit of lightness around there. And a darkness going up. Okay. Now we're going to bring a little bit of a redder color in there. So this here is Ruby Earth. If you don't have the Derwent Light Fast, this is more of like a dark olive color. So like in Prismas, this would be your, let me see. I have one in here. Like your moss green would work, and your green ochre. So that's about the same color. You can go in with that. So moss green in the Prisma. I usually just grab what's on my desk, and the Light Fast and Luminance just sit here. So I grab them first. Okay, so you get the hint. We're going to do this on every single one of them. So I won't bore you to death. So that gives it a nice darker color than down here. So we'll do one of these down here too. And again, I've changed to the Prismacolors. And this is the moss green that I'm using. And just defining all the lines. Okay. Okay, when we're going to use, I was going to use the Merlot, but we can use the black raspberry. And we're going to add a little touch of that into this brownish area, just to darken it up a little bit. Okay, so it gets it a little darker. So we'll be adding that in also. We're going to put that up here around his face too. Anyway, we have to add a little green in there and a little yellow. So around his face, I'm just going to grab, because it's here, lemon yellow. Add some of that in here. Okay, we'll be adding it in down in here too. So just on top of the other colors. And that brightens them up a little bit. Okay, then we have some spring green that we can add in here also to lighten up that green tone a little bit. Okay, bring it down in here too. Found them in the white areas, or the whiter areas that I want to keep here. I'm going to go in with the Prisma and just add in some of those as a highlight. Okay. I sharpen this so it doesn't look so fat and fluffy. I want it a little sharper than that. If you get it too fat, or if you don't like it, just go over it with a little bit of the green, and that'll help it out a little bit. Okay, try not to go on the black though, because it's going to be hard to get rid of. The eraser will probably take up some of that ink. So we'll use a very soft eraser and see if I can't get that white up. Yeah. It's okay. Alright, so like this part here I want a little whiter, so I'm going to just go over that. On his tummy here we want to lighten up these. So that one goes up there. This one is here. I got that one a little too dark with the ink, so now I know where it's at. And then when I go in and color it, I'll know where I'm coloring at. So this is the Prisma Moss Green. Then we'll just keep going in and adding all these colors. Okay, it's another leaf right there I have to get. Okay, so we'll brighten all those, color those all in. You get the hint. It'll all end up looking like this, done the same way. We're going to work on his little face here. Okay, we're going to darken under here. This is the black raspberry again. Trying to blend it out a little bit. Sorry. Trying to see what I'm doing here. So he's kind of got this dragony looking face. So that is what I'm trying to achieve, leaving some areas white. I think that's as much red as he has up here. Okay, then we're going to bring in the lemon yellow just to blend that around a little bit. And then this is kind of white in here. So we're going to put the yellow on the outside. And then leave the inside white. So bring in the Prisma white. Color that in. This area. We've got an area back here that's white, so I think that's this line. Okay, and I believe that these need to stay white here. So I'll put that pencil in there. Brighten those up a little bit. And then these little whiskers out here. There. That's looking like a pretty good face. Okay, back in with the little yellow in there. And there we go for his face. I could probably blend that a little bit better up here. He's got kind of a yellow under eye. And then of course his eye is going to be black, and we'll color that in. And then like the striping that comes down here, each one of these has got a highlight in it, so we can take the white and just accent those up. Just where it's the lightest in the and then we go back with the lemon yellow and touch those corners so it doesn't look so stark white. Okay, so that's what I'll be doing down his body, and when I get back I'll have all these little fluffy guys done and the little highlights in here, and then we'll work on anything else I need to work on. If I need to work on anything else. If not, I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit.